after her husband burned her to abort her fetus. Lebanese Hanaa surrender's death. Hanaa closed her eyes forever. Lebanese Hanaa closed her eyes forever after 11 days of suffering and pain from burns that covered her entire body as a result of her life partner setting her on fire. After she refused to abort their fetus, Hanaa left behind 2 children who were in dire need of her, and 2 parents who were crying over the tears of their eyes for those who raised her, happy with her wedding 5 years ago, to the young man, Othman Akari, without expecting that she would die at his hands in the most horrible way. No words can describe as her Uncle Khalid confirms the state of her parents, brother and sister, ever since they saw her in this state. Their lives have been turned upside down. Their only hope became that she would recover one day. But unfortunately we were all shocked that she surrendered to death, preferring to depart rather than endure all this pain. Khalid spoke to Al-Hura on his way to bury Hanaa in her hometown of Wadi Khalid, where he was filled with anger at everyone who had a hand in the catastrophic end of his niece. From her husband to his mother and sister, they are all partners in the crime. Hanaa was brutally beaten in front of her mother-in-law, and despite this, she did nothing. Instead, she asked her to follow him to his room next door, so he committed his crime by lighting a gas cylinder to burn her. Our butterfly, which was radiating vitality and activity, was burned. The fire melted her clothes, so the neighbors covered her body with a sheet piece of cloth, while the criminal's mother sat, smoking a cigarette. She did not even accompany her to the hospital. From here, I pray to God that she sees her son in the same condition, he added, noting that 2 days after the crime, Othman's brother went to the hospital and we refused to receive him. The same happened after his mother came. How can we receive any member of this family when our daughter was burned by her son? Social media was abuzz with the news of Hanaa's death, as activists expressed their anger at what happened to the daughter of northern Lebanon, demanding that the harshest punishment be imposed on her husband, to serve as a lesson to anyone who would dare to commit a crime against their wife. Hanaa tasted the most horrific types of pain, so her uncle demanded the execution of not only her husband, but also his mother and sister. As he says, this is not the first time he has beaten her in front of them, which we did not know about, as she kept it a secret for his sake, and for the sake of her 2 children, whom she devoted her life to raising. After she became pregnant, for the 3rd time, her husband insisted on aborting her, claiming that his financial circumstances were difficult, as he works as a taxi driver. What kind of circumstances allow a person to turn into a monster, to remove mercy from his heart, to beat, abuse, burn and kill? Hanaa's blood will not go in vain, Khalid stresses. We believe in God and the judiciary, and we demand justice for her. Although I rule out that Othman will ever be released from prison, if that happens, I swear that I will burn him. The cost of each day Hanaa spent in the hospital was $400, and after her departure, there is still an amount of money owed by the family, Khalid says. The Akari family did not contribute any money during her treatment, knowing that we do not need it and do not want a single lira from its members. There are many generous people who have not and will not leave us alone. According to the media, the security forces arrested the perpetrator. Domestic violence crimes are on the rise in Lebanon, where a campaign titled, "Its Name is a Crime," was launched last year on social media platforms, with activists calling for the prosecution and trial of the perpetrators. Last year, the internal security forces is recorded a nearly 100% increase in the number of domestic violence complaints received on the 1745 hotline, compared to the previous year. The ISF and the National Commission for Lebanese Women stated, at the time, that the hotline was a continuation of the implementation of Law 293 to protect women and other family members from domestic violence. The law was recently amended by the parliament, making the protection measures it stipulates more comprehensive. An report states that 37% of Arab women have been subjected to some form of violence in their lives, with indications that the percentage may be higher.